Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. Today, oh my gosh, it's so nice to be back here. So I just came, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt and long pants. I just got back a few hours ago from Washington, D.C. It was cold there, not for orchid stuff, but for some other stuff. And it's just so nice to be back. And I'm doing a lot of traveling now, so I'm traveling a little for work-related activities. I'm also traveling over the holidays. So what's going to happen is I'm not going to be doing the same videos. At least I'm not going to be here over Christmas and New Year's. So I'll try to bring you something, but it's not going to be nice weather, nice days, beautiful things in Southwest Florida, because I'm going to be back in the Midwest US, probably a little chilly like I was this morning. I've gotten used to the weather here, so I was walking around in Washington and I had a hooded sweatshirt and then a coat on top of that, and I was still cold. It was a windy morning, and I'm used to this. I'm actually fine with how it is here. It's a beautiful day. Anyway, good to be back. What I got to do today, what I want to do with you today is show you these are some repeat bloomers that I have around me. I have some new blooms here. I also want to let you know that I'm going to be doing a video with just kind of an overview of the plants in this area of my yard, so in this part of my collection. Because what I have is a lot of plants that are in spike, that are about to bloom. And the interesting story behind this is I've got a lot of first blooms. I've got some plants spiking from seed that I'm really excited about that. I've got one plant that I've had, I think, for close to 5 years, where I got my first bloom coming out on it, and I just know it's going to be a disappointment. But I want to talk about next time, not today, time to bloom and how long it takes to repeat and those things like that, and old hybrids versus some of the new hybrids and how they're different. But I just want to give a general overview. All right, so for today I have these guys that I want to share with you, and I've shared at least these 4 plants with you before, and some of them fairly recently. So this one right here is something that just blooms for me all the time. This is Clear Stars, and this is a nodosa hybrid. It's a great plant, incredibly vigorous. This plant has all of the roots, even though it's a large pot, it has all the roots growing and attaching to the outside of the pot. This plant has a couple of new blooms on it. They're nice. But then it also has some old blooms. This bloom is probably going to fall off, and then I've got a bloom here and a bloom here that I actually fertilized the flower, so I've got seed capsules forming on this. It is one of my favorites, and I use it in a lot of my crosses because it's kind of like it's a really large star-shaped flower. It's just it's a large nodosa hybrid is what it is, and really vigorous, but again, most large flower, which is what I like. The only thing that this doesn't have is fragrance, but nodosa is fragrant in the evenings, and to be honest, I haven't come out here to take a whiff of this plant at nighttime. It may be fragrant, I don't know. All right, so anyway, this is Clear Stars, one of my favorite. Keeps on blooming, keeps on going. I've got progeny coming on this. I've got progeny actually that are getting fairly large, not close to bloom, but still a really nice nodosa hybrid. Okay, moving on a little bit, on this side of the table, this is another large vigorous hybrid. So this is Cornerstone, and the cultivar on this is Compass. This is also, I've shared this with you recently, this has been blooming such a long time. It's been loaded with these big, colorful, fragrant flowers for what seems like months. Not what seems like, it has been a few months. So it started blooming a couple of months ago, and this is the tail end of the blooms that are on this plant. So it is just loaded. Right now there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flowers on it, but they're so big it puts on quite a show. I'm not going to cross this plant because what I want to do, because it's growing over the edge of the pot here and the roots are everywhere. So I've fertilized this, I've pollinated it in the past. I've got some really cool, I think, hybrids coming from this. But what I want to do is wait for this to grow. I want it to put out some new pseudobulbs and roots, and then I'm going to divide it. I'm probably going to get about 2 or 3 plants out of this single huge plant. I bought this, I think, 3 years ago from RF Orchids. Love their stock. It's doing so well. The flowers are they're really colorful. This insert that I have, this video that I have that I'm putting in now, doesn't do the flowers justice. This is really a bright purple flower. It's got a little bit of yellow coloration in the throat, but the intensity of the color is, I'm not sure you'll be able to see, but it's just really a nice, big, fragrant, floofy cattleya, which I love. And again, so like what's going to happen with this is I'm going to divide this and make more plants, probably gift those to other people, but then keep keep a nice one for myself. So one of my newer favorites, even though it's not that new. Okay, moving on a little bit. This is a catasetum right here. So this is Fred Clark After Dark Black Pearl is the cultivar. And this one it's a typical catasetum, so all of the leaves are gone. It put out a really thick, big pseudobulb and then a couple of flower spikes that came out of this. The flower spikes are a little bit convoluted, a little bit kind of twisted, but still nice. All the blooms are not open on this thing. Normally this has kind of a spicy, sweet fragrance to it, and maybe because it's windy. No, I don't smell it now. And I have to do this because these catasetums shoot their pollinia out. I'll make sure I didn't get shot with that. But this is, this is real typical. A lot of people have After Dark, and even Black Pearl, even this, even this cultivar. It's a great plant, very vigorous. I've got this thing to bloom for me repeatedly. I've made divisions of this plant, gifted a division of this plant to the guy that gifted Clear Stars to me, and actually hit the division that I gifted him has more flowers coming out on it than mine does. But still, it's kind of a little bit of an unusual plant. I should mention that the flowers here are, if you look at them, they're very darkly pigmented, and this is black. Now, since generating this plant, Fred Clark, who made this, has generated, even, if you can imagine it, even darker, even blacker catasetum hybrids. This is one of the things. This is one of the first plants that brought him into wide recognition in the orchid world, and it's just a great plant. He's been doing it for a while, but it's just a great, very unusual because it's so dark, very prolific, floriferous, fragrant, nice plant. So if you're interested, the growing catasetum is a little different from growing the rest of these plants just because there are no leaves on it. The leaves are thin. It's deciduous, so it drops its leaves. It has a winter dormancy, and then it'll put out new shoots. And they have all these rules about when you're supposed to water that I don't follow for catasetums. I water them like my other plants all the time. In this area, you can get away with doing that. But this is just really a nice plant that I enjoy having and growing, and it seems to, like I said, do really well for me. Okay, so moving on a little bit. Behind me, I'm not gonna pull it out because it's heavy. But back here, I have a Myai. So I have a few Myais, and I've made, so I had some keikis off of this, and I have them growing in various pots behind me. This plant is big. I'm going to divide it probably as soon as it's done flowering, or more importantly, as soon as it's done flowering and the capsule that I've generated from a pollination that I've made, it matures. So I did cross onto this. You know, it's such a big plant and there's so many flowers that I kind of like doing that. I'm just excited that this plant continues to flower. My other large plant is on my front lanai. It's flowering now too, and it's a Myai is just a nice plant to have. Okay, moving on just a little bit. Well, the last one, not a little bit. We're almost done here. I wanted to share this one with you, and this I'm excited about because this one right here is a first bloom for me. I picked this up a few months ago at, this is Sundance Orchids in Fort Myers. And this is Fushu Glory, and the cultivar is Happy Holidays. I've seen this plant coming. This is it's a new hybrid, really nice, vigorous. I thought it might have another, I still can't tell. Might be some flowers in this bulb here, but just a really nice, vigorous plant. The pictures that I saw of the flower, and what really drew me to it is it does have some really nice, striking yellow coloration in the petals and sepals. With it's supposed to have darker yellow flaring in the petals. And this is from this cultivar. This only opened a couple of days ago, and the reality of it when I look at this is I don't see that. I don't see any dark yellow flaring in the petals. What I do see in the petals at the end of the petals is I see a little bit of purple. I'm not sure what's going on with this. It only opened a few days ago, so we'll see what happens on this. It was starting to open before I went to Washington, and it's open a little bit more. And a lot of times with orchid flowers is the color tends to develop over time. Again, I haven't had this plant for very long. I'm not sure what it's going to do. It looks like it's just really vigorous, but I have had it for a few months. I've got another plant behind it, a cuculata, that's also from Sundance, and it's growing really nice. Anyway, but I got this hybrid. We'll see how it continues to grow, and I'm happy that it's here and it's doing so well. And I just wish again, the coloration in the petals would come out just a little bit more. And again, it may be a question of time before that happens. All right, that's all I have for you today. I am going to, like I said, follow up with one, maybe two videos showing plants that are in bud that I'm probably going to have to see when I return back to Southwest Florida. And it's about a 3-week trip that I'm taking, so you're going to see a slowdown from me on videos over Christmas and New Year. Anyway, so I'll make some additional videos before I leave, and follow up as best as I can beyond that. But it's such a nice time. I have just looking around. I have a Wu Lang progeny plant behind me that's going to bloom. I've got Odom's Grandolite right here that's about 5 feet from me, that's got a bud on it that haven't seen anything from it for a while because the bougainvillea fell down on it. I've got a Rico Stylish Gigantea that's putting out a bloom. I've got 2 Rico Stylish Giganteas that are putting this one's bloomed before it's white. I've got another one that just says red spots. It's from RF Orchids that's putting out a spike. I have first bloom on a Phalaenopsis, our first spike on a Phalaenopsis that I grew from seed that's coming out, that I think it's going to wait for me until I get back. But it's just really exciting because of all of the orchid blooms, because some of the seedlings that even I've generated are showing like they're going to flower, and this is just fun. It's just great. It's great to be here in Southwest Florida, at least as long as I can be here. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did and you want to keep on seeing them, it would help me out if you can click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. All right, once again, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and happy propagating.